Question 14.7. Suppose you own 2,000 common shares of Lawrence Incorporated. The EPS is $10. The dividend per share is $3, and the stock sells for $80 per share. Lawrence announces a 2-for-1 split. Immediately after the split, how many shares will you have? What will the adjusted EPS and DPS be? And what would you expect the stock price to be? So in a 2-for-1 split, remember the first value is the number of shares you have after the split. So in a split, your number of shares are increased. In a reverse split, the shares are decreased. So right now we see you have 2,000 shares. And if it's a 2-for-1 split, our shares after the split is simply the shares times the value after of 2. The EPS after split is just simply our EPS right now divided by the split ratio. Similarly for the DPS. It's our dividends before divided by the split ratio. And since it's a 2-for-1, it's like thinking 2 divided by 1. And the price post-split is just our current price today divided by the split ratio. Now we can just divide by 2 because 2 divided by 1 is 2. So there you go. Shares after split, 4,000. Our EPS will be halved since our number of shares is doubling. Our dividends will be halved, but since we've doubled the number of shares, we're still getting the same amount of dividends. And the price after split is 40. So a way to look at this is our EPS times the number of shares. So it tells us the earnings we have for all our shares. The dividends per share is just our dividend times the number of shares. So the total amount of dividends we'll receive is 6,000. And so if we go back down here, we can see now that our share value increased, our share number increased, but our EPS decreased. So we'll multiply that times our number of shares. Lo and behold, we still have the same amount of earnings. So our earnings didn't change. It's just our number of shares went from 2,000 to 4,000. How about our dividends? Well, we're now receiving a $1.50 dividend on 4,000 shares. So we're now still getting 6,000 in dividends. So notice what's happening here. We just increased the number of shares from 2,000 to 4,000. That means now the price has gone from 80 to 40 to reflect that amount. So if we went to our market cap, 4,000 times our 40 per share, we see the market value of our equity is 160,000, and pre-split it was also 160,000. So the split has only changed our number of shares. The amount of earnings we have in dollar amount has not changed. The amount of dividends we're receiving has not changed, and the market value of our equity has not changed.